Making your own photo documentary. It's not easy. It requires time, skill, determination, and money, but it's one of the most rewarding genres of photography. There are no rules or guidelines. Every photographer has their own style and working methods. It's an art form, but to help you get started, I'll tell you how I made my own photo documentaries, Behind the Redwood Curtain, and the award-winning Grey Summer Garden. It all starts with picking a subject, and the best photo documentaries are about something or someone the photographer is really interested in. And it doesn't have to be spectacular or exciting. Keep it simple, especially when it's your first one. Personal photo documentaries are a lot of times more interesting than assigned projects, because you can pick the subject, and if you pick something that you're really passionate about, people will see it in the resulting photos. I'm interested in locations and communities that people often don't notice or don't want to notice, and the idea comes to me by accident. Most of the subjects for my photo documentaries I stumbled upon while reading or browsing the internet. For my series Behind the Redwood Curtain, the idea came to me after watching a documentary about the redwood forests in California. And for my series Grey Summer Garden, the idea came to me when I moved close to the area where I shot the series. Suddenly, I was living across the street from a community I had heard so much about. Something both series have in common is the human story. When looking for a subject, it's important to find that human story. I could have just gone to the redwoods and made a documentary about the forests, but people always make it more interesting. Find the people and their story. When you find your subject, make sure to narrow it down, so it's easier to go deeper. And not only that, it will also be easier to shoot the documentary, because it will keep travel distances shorter. Ideally, you should be able to walk everywhere. For Grey Summer Garden, I just had to walk out the door and I was there where I needed to be. The area itself was really small, so I got to know it really fast, and the people saw me walking there every evening, which made it easier to connect. Remember to focus your story. Narrow it down. Once you have your subject, it's time to research. Learn everything there is to know about it. You can use the internet, but also the library and magazines. And the more you know about the subject, the easier it will be to get the shots that matter to tell the story. When researching, you'll also find new interesting angles that you might not have thought about. I changed how I want to approach the subject and the angle many times before I actually start shooting. That's normal. If you're going to photograph a special location, you need to find and contact the right people and ask if you're allowed to shoot there. For my series, that never was a problem, because I shot everything in the streets and public areas. I use something else to research the places I want to go to. Google Street View. It's the most important tool to research a location that requires me to travel. For my series Behind the Redwood Curtain, I had to go to the United States, but I could only afford to go 3 weeks. And I didn't want to spend 1 week scouting locations. So I spent hours on Google Street View, virtually traveling through the area to find interesting locations. It helped to spend my time more efficiently when actually photographing, and I even ended up making a series with the screenshots from Google Street View. How long do you need to shoot your project? Usually, the longer the better. That means you'll get to know the area and the people, you'll make connections, and you'll learn more about your subject while shooting. So ideally, months or even years will result in a better and deeper documentary. For Grey Summer Garden, I spent 3 months walking around in the neighborhood. After a few weeks, people started to get used to me and it felt less awkward to make photos. Now sometimes you don't have a lot of time. Then it's key to research well. Use your time efficiently. When I finally left to photograph Behind the Redwood Curtain, I knew exactly where I wanted to go and even what photos I needed to tell the story. And that gets us to the shot list. When working on a project, always make a shot list. It should be a list of the types of shots you need to tell the story. And also think about light and mood. You basically need to visualize what you want the end result to look like. The shot list for my series Behind the Red Curtain looked something like this. A shot list will make it easier for you while walking around making photos. Of course, don't limit yourself to the shots on the list. Keep an open mind for new ideas. A project grows and changes even while you're shooting it. When I create a photo documentary, I'm always interested in the dynamics between people and their surroundings. It's something you can see in all my projects. The combination of landscapes and portraits just works for me. To create a balance between those types of shots, it's important to connect with people. Find out more about them and the location, and even if you're not taking a photo of the person you're talking to, it's always interesting to learn from them. People will give you new ideas and angles to tell the story. Finally, a short word about funding your project. The easiest way, of course, is to do it yourself, but you already have to start thinking about it when looking for a subject. When you only have a limited amount of money, you don't want to travel halfway across the world. Find something close by and something you already know. You don't have to go far to find an interesting subject. Also, already think about what you want to do with the project when it's finished. Do you want to make a book or an exhibition? It might be a good idea to already start a crowdfunding campaign before you even start shooting. I always funded my projects myself, and when they were finished, I entered them in photo competitions or tried to get them published. Making your own photo documentary is one of the best ways to improve your photography, because you'll do a lot more than just taking photos. It involves planning, organizing, and connecting with other people. And if you're really serious about it, it's the best way to get exposure, because if the end result is good, people will notice it. Okay, that's it. Let me know in the comments if you're thinking about making your own photo documentary. I'm always glad to help or give you some advice. And make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next videos.